What's up, everybody? Justin here to do a new episode of The List. I believe this is episode 19 or 20. I lost count. It's either 19 or 20 episode of The List. So the topics I'm going to talk about on this episode of The List. I will talk about Eva Mrie. That WWE is not renewing her contract. So basically, she's being let go and fired. I will discuss that. And believe me, that is great news. Probably the best news I've heard in 2017 so far. That she's going to be gone. I will also discuss the WWE Hall of Fame and some of the inductees and who's inducting them. I will also discuss some of my favorite Hall of Fame ceremonies of all time. I'll give you a couple of my favorites. And I will also discuss the WrestleMania 33 stage because it is massive. I saw a picture of it online. I guess someone leaked it, I think on Sunday or Monday I saw it. It's a giant, massive stage. Probably the biggest stage they've ever built in WrestleMania history. And I'll also discuss the Oakland Raiders. Yes, they are still, and you can still call them the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders are leaving. It's a done deal. They're going to Vegas. So I'll discuss and start talking about that first. The Oakland Raiders, they've been in Oakland a really long time. On some of these episodes of The List, I won't just talk wrestling. I'll talk sports like I am now, talking about the Raiders leaving. I'll talk sports, possibly in future episodes. I'll talk about politics, or even I'll talk about TV shows, some of my favorite TV shows that I watch, or entertainment. I can talk about anything I want on these episodes of The List. So the Raiders, I don't know when they started in Oakland, but they've been there a very long time. Since at least, I think the 60s, I think they were around in the 60s, and of course they won a Super Bowl as the Oakland Raiders in the 70s. They had a great team. Very, very good teams the Raiders were in the 70s. Last Super Bowl they went to was in 2002 against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and, well, they got destroyed. Still, the Oakland Raiders, I feel really bad for the fans. The Raiders are one of my favorite teams in the NFL. I like, of course, the Packers are number one, but I like the Raiders a lot. And I even like the Buffalo Bills a lot, but they're always losing. But I like the Raiders. I wish they could stay in Oakland. I mean, those fans in Oakland, you have every right to be pissed off and angry and just heartbroken that your Oakland Raiders are leaving to go to Vegas. I'm not sure, I mean, the crowds in Vegas, they will go to the Raider games because a lot of Raider fans, I'm sure, live in Vegas. So, and plus, the NFL only has 8 home games a season for teams. So Vegas, not only is Vegas getting a new NHL team, but they will be getting the Raiders in 2 years. I really hope for Oakland and for the fans and for all the Raider fans of the Oakland Raiders. I really hope in the next 2 years that the Oakland Raiders can win a Super Bowl. For the fans of Oakland to just say thank you for supporting us for all those years. Yes, the Raiders have... It's true that they've never had their own arena. Not arena, but stadium. They've never had their own football stadium. They've had to share it with the Oakland Athletics for probably 20, 30 years, or probably longer. Maybe 40 years, I'm not sure, but a lot of teams in the NFL used to share stadiums with Major League Baseball teams. It wasn't a big deal. But I understand why teams now want their own stadiums. Still, this is about greed. This is about money. And the Raiders owner, I forget his first name, it's Davis, because he's Al Davis' son. Former Raiders owner Al Davis, who passed away. It's about money. He's the owner of the Raiders. NFL is a business. The Raiders are leaving because the owner will get more money and make himself even more money. I believe Vegas is going to charge the people of Vegas, or visitors of Vegas, tourists are going to be charged now a little extra tax for their hotel rooms. So that's a good way to tax people to build the stadium. Then the rest of the money, I think, is coming from the Vegas taxpayers, I believe. So anyways, it's about money. If you're an Oakland Raiders fan, if you're a fan of the Raiders, I still think you should support them. Because if you decide to stop supporting them, stop watching the games, stop being a Raiders fan, that isn't going to make them not go to Vegas. They're still going to be in the NFL. And by you not supporting them, that doesn't mean the Raiders owner is going to decide to not leave Oakland. He's leaving no matter what. The NFL likes him leaving. The NFL, I guess, has wanted a team in Vegas for a couple years. Probably 5 or 10 years. So the NFL is going to make more money in Vegas. The Raiders, as a franchise, they're a great franchise. They've been around a really long time. They're a historic, legendary franchise. They have a ton of fans. Ton of fans around. But my point is, if you decide to stop supporting the Raiders because they left Oakland, and if the Raiders are your team, I think you should still support them in Vegas, because the owner isn't going to give a damn if you're not a Raiders fan anymore. He's still going to Vegas, and he's still going to make a lot more money from the new stadium deal. He's going to become richer. Like, the owners need more money. They don't. They got enough damn money. They're all billionaires. But it's sad. My final thought on it, it is sad. It's very sad to see the Raiders leave Oakland, because that's where they made a name for themselves. And that's who they'll be known as, the Oakland Raiders. When I watch them, when they're in Vegas and I watch them, I won't look at them as the Las Vegas Raiders. That name, that doesn't even sound right. That doesn't even fit. The Las Vegas Raiders. That doesn't even fit. The Oakland Raiders is what I'll think of them as, even though they'll be in Vegas. Now, a lot of teams, the NFL has moved 3 teams now. The Raiders are moving in 2 years. NFL has moved 3 teams in the past 2 to 3 years, or 2 years. Or in the last 3 years, 3 teams are moving. You had St. Louis leave, the Rams went back to LA. St. Louis Rams are god-awful anyway, so you shouldn't be that upset, St. Louis. Even though they did bring you 1 or 2 Super Bowls, I believe. Chargers left San Diego. That was ridiculous. They should have stayed in San Diego. They left. Now they're the LA Chargers. That's not going to work. 2 football teams in LA, 2 pro football teams in LA is not going to work. Unless somehow they both become great winning franchises for years and years to come. So I'm sad to see the Raiders go to Vegas, but it's all about the owner of the Raiders, greedy bastard, wanted to move them to Vegas, and Vegas got them a stadium deal. I think Oakland could have worked out a stadium deal with the Raiders, but it wasn't worked out soon enough, I guess. I heard the Oakland Athletics are actually going to get a new stadium in Oakland, so good for them and good for their fans that they'll stay in Oakland. But it's sad to see the Raiders leave Oakland. I always look at them as the Oakland Raiders, not the Las Vegas Raiders. That sounds ridiculous. Next topic on the list, Eva Mrie. Released. Kind of released because they're not renewing her contract, so in my opinion, that's her ass getting released and fired. That's the company saying to her, that's WWE saying to Eva Mrie, you are not good enough. You're not worth the money, and you're not good enough to get another contract. You don't deserve another contract, and she doesn't. She never deserved a contract to be a wrestler in the first place. Now, if she got a contract just to appear on Total Divas, I'd be fine with that. And if she got a contract just to be a manager or valet, I'd be fine with that. But they wanted her to wrestle for some fucking reason. I don't know whose decision it was. If it was Vince McMahon or Kevin Dunn. It's probably that fucking buck-toothed beaver Kevin Dunn probably was a fan of Eva Mrie. Because he probably had a fetish of being with her or something. Or fantasizing about her. Kevin Dunn is a fucking retard. That guy's an idiot. I don't know who wanted her to wrestle and who thought it'd be a good idea to have Eva Mrie try to be a wrestler. She tried to play wrestler. She wasn't even good at that. She sucked. She absolutely was garbage as a pro wrestler. She was trash. She had zero talent in the squared circle. Zero talent. I've never been in a match, but I guarantee you I could put on a better match than Eva Mrie. She was god-awful. Yeah, people could say she tried. I don't care. She tried and it wasn't good enough because she failed. And that's why she's being let go and not having her contract renewed because she failed in the company. My opinion, Eva Mrie, the biggest flop, the biggest fail that WWE's ever signed. The biggest flop and fail in WWE history, my opinion. It's not Sable, because at least Sable was super over, and at least she could do a Sable bomb, and she was super over. So Sable brought ratings, and she was super over with the crowd. So she was not the biggest flop. The biggest flop in probably wrestling history is Eva Mrie, because she's that bad. Final thought on Eva Mrie, I'm really glad she's let go, not having her contract renewed, and let the door hit you in the ass, Eva Mrie, because I won't miss you, and I hope you never, ever, ever return to pro wrestling or WWE. Please never return. And please, WWE, never bring her back and give her a contract. So thank God All Red Everything is out of the fucking company because she should have never been a wrestler in the first place. She failed. That's why she's not getting her contract renewed. Next topic on this episode of the list. WWE Hall of Fame. Great to hear. Fantastic to hear that Jim Cornette will be inducting the Rock and Roll Express, his longtime rivals. The Rock and Roll Express and Jim Cornette against the Midnight Express. They made so much money together. They drew a ton of money together. They sold out many arenas all over. So it's awesome. It's great that he's going to be back for one night only, inducting the Rock and Roll Express, his longtime tag team rivals. I can't wait for his speech. Don't expect him to rip and start shooting and rip Kevin Dunn or the company. That's not going to happen. Jim Cornette will be professional. The guy's a pro. The guy's going to be a class act in his speech. He doesn't have to rip the company. He doesn't have to rip Kevin Dunn or Vince. His speech will still be great without him shooting and going off. I would like to hear him go off and mention Vince Russo. That'd be fun if he ripped him, but Vince Russo has no business really being even brought up because he doesn't deserve to be brought up, in my opinion. The guy should never be a Hall of Famer. So anyways, Jim Cornette, I'm a fan of his. The guy's great. The guy's awesome. The guy's one of the best managers of all time. He is a Hall of Famer. He's a great promo guy, great talker, great commentator. Jim Cornette is the fucking man. And he was a hell of a heel manager, especially in the 80s, against the Rock and Roll Express with the Midnight Express, his team. So it's awesome. WWE called him and asked him that the Rock and Roll Express wants you to induct them, and Jim Cornette agreed to do it. That's awesome. Other great inductees, Eric Bischoff will be coming back to induct Diamond Dallas Page, one of his best friends. I don't know if they're still good friends. I heard a couple years ago that they had a lot of heat and they weren't friends anymore, but I guess they are because Eric Bischoff is inducting DDP. And Eric Bischoff is the guy that got DDP and put him over in 99 and got him to win the world title. Because I believe Bischoff was still in power then and pushed DDP to win the world title. Because they are friends. They lived next door to each other in Atlanta, Georgia. They lived next door. So, Eric Bischoff, fantastic. Be great to see him and hear him. Be great to see and hear Jim Cornette. Kurt Angle, the headliner, the main event of this year's Hall of Fame. Kurt Angle, you deserve it, maybe more than anybody. Because Kurt Angle, the greatest natural, the greatest guy to come from amateur wrestling into pro wrestling, and he is one of the greatest that he picked up pro wrestling like he could do it in his sleep. He was that damn good. Kurt Angle is the guy's a natural talent. And probably the fastest guy ever. Excuse me, let me cut this off here. Kurt Angle, probably the greatest and most... he picked up pro wrestling probably faster than any amateur wrestler has ever before him. That's how great he was. Just a natural, pure talent in pro wrestling. So, now I'm going to discuss some of my favorite Hall of Fames. 2004, in the first Hall of Fame ceremony, when they decided to bring it back. 2004 Hall of Fame was fantastic. You had Harley Race, Superstar Billy Graham, Tito Santana, Don Morocco. Who else? Jimmy Hart, Greg Valentine, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Bobby the Brain Heenan winning in 2004. His speech was epic. It was funny as fucking hell. I love Bobby Heenan. It's a real tragedy that the guy can't speak anymore and is sick. It's just a tragedy. But his speech in 2004, go back on the network, watch Bobby Heenan's speech from the 2004 Hall of Fame. It's great. It's fantastic. So 2004 Hall of Fame, one of my favorites. 2005, one of my favorites because one of my favorites of all time. Hulk Hogan was a headliner, the main event. He went in the Hall of Fame. Roddy Piper went in. Paul Orndorff went in. And in 2006, another favorite Hall of Fame of mine. think it was, 2006. I believe Bret Hart went in. He deserved it. Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler, and that's who I remember. Mean Gene Okerlund winning. He deserved it in 06. So 04, 05, 06, 07, Dusty Rhodes winning. He really deserved it. And there's been so many great Hall of Fame ceremonies. I forget the year, but the one in Madison Square Garden before WrestleMania 29. One of the WrestleManias in New York, New Jersey, in the Giant Stadium. When Bruno Sammartino went in, Trish Stratus went in, Mick Foley went in, Booker T went in. That's one of my favorite Hall of Fames. And sadly, the disgrace, Donald Trump went in also in that year. And he was kind of booed out of Madison Square Garden. And rightfully so. He deserved to be booed out of MSG. Another favorite Hall of Fame of mine is all last year's. Last year you had Sting, the headliner. One of my favorite wrestlers is Sting, along with a few guys. Hulk Hogan, Sting, Ric Flair, guys like that are some of my favorites. So, Sting went in. That was fantastic. Sadly, he retired in his Hall of Fame speech. He retired from wrestling. But at least he got his WrestleMania moment. He got to appear at a WrestleMania and feel what it felt like to be at a WrestleMania. Another favorite Hall of Fame of mine was, I forget the year, but when Jake the Snake, Scott Hall went in. That was a great Hall of Fame. Jake the Snake, I remember his speech, and it was fantastic. It was great. I think that was 2014 or 15 when Jake the Snake went in with Razor Ramon. Another favorite Hall of Fame of mine was when HBK went in. Shawn Michaels, again, Shawn Michaels, one of my favorites of all time. I forget the year, but Shawn Michaels went in. That was fantastic. He deserved it. Mr. WrestleMania. So those are some of my favorite Hall of Fames. There's been a lot of them. I mean, all of them have been pretty good, but some are more my favorites than others. So now I'm going to talk about the WrestleMania 33 stage. I saw the picture leaked online. I saw it on Twitter. And I think I saw it Sunday or Monday. Anyways, the WrestleMania 33 stage is massive. It's giant. I've never seen anything like it. It goes up. It rises up and up and up above a lot of the seats. Like not bleachers, but the first row of seating. There's a floor by the stage, and then there's a first row of seating that goes up like this, and then the WrestleMania stage goes above some of those seats. And then above the WrestleMania stage, right by the entrance, they're building a roller coaster. A freaking roller coaster is being built. Now, I don't know how big it's going to be. It'll probably be one of those roller coasters like they have at a state fair that just goes around and round in circles. But still, it'll be really cool to see. The stage is going to be epic at WrestleMania 33. I can't wait until I see it on Saturday night or Sunday. I think I'll see it. And it's going to look great. It's going to look fantastic. WWE is they're not cheap. They're definitely going to spend a lot of money for this year's WrestleMania to make the stage look great. They're building a roller coaster that should look fantastic. And the stage, it's going to take, it's the biggest stage in WrestleMania history. Biggest ramp ever. As I said, it goes above a lot of the seats. So the fans sitting on the floor towards the side of the stage, they're not going to be able to see much except in front of them. Because if they try to look sideways, they're not going to see much. They're going to see a giant wall next to them. The wall will be the stage. But who cares? I'm not sitting by the stage. So I'm not even going to be there live. So what do I care? I'm going to be watching it on the WWE network. The stage, it's going to take the talent a really long time to get to the damn ring. Especially guys like, Mick Foley, if he appears, does a run in, it's going to take him a long time to get to the ring. The Undertaker's entrance will probably take 10 whole minutes. For him to get to the ring, it'll probably take him 8 whole minutes to walk to the ring. Even though Taker, in his Undertaker character, he walks slow anyways, but the guy's going to probably be in some pain, so he'll probably be walking slower. Anyways, the WrestleMania 33 stage, it looked massive. I've never seen anything like it at a pro wrestling show or a WrestleMania event. It's going to be huge. It's going to be massive, a giant stage. I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like on Sunday when it's all finished. I don't know how big the roller coaster is going to be, but that's going to look damn impressive also. So WWE is, I'm sure, spending millions and millions to build that stage and coaster, but it's worth it because WrestleMania is the biggest spectacle in sports entertainment. So this ends my episode of The List. Hope you enjoyed it. I discussed a lot of topics, I think 4 different topics. Hope you enjoyed it. This is my last show before I do my Hall of Fame review and NXT TakeOver Orlando review and before my WrestleMania review. So, no videos on Thursday. No more videos until my Hall of Fame review. Hope you enjoyed this episode of The List. Follow me on Twitter at WWENXT Guy. Also, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I would appreciate it. And WrestleMania is 4 days away. Whenever you're watching this, it's probably sooner than that. But right now, it's 4 days away. I'm excited for it. And I'm ready for it. Bye for now, everybody.